Good evening to the teachers. This is Priyanka, and my team is consists of Avila, Shrivats, and Sukrut. This is our supply chain EL. So our topic is reducing market volatility, that is data-driven insights into agricultural pricing. Agricultural price volatility is a major challenge in India, which affects both farmers as well as the policymakers. It's driven by various factors like supply demand imbalances or seasonal fluctuations, and also inefficiencies in logistics. While many studies have analyzed these issues for specific commodities in certain specific regions, these insights remain fragmented. So, this makes it difficult to design the policies that can work across entire India's diverse agricultural landscape. So, what we are basically doing in this study is that we are looking at AgMarkNet data across multiple different commodities like mangoes, potatoes, jute, and we're analyzing the trends nationwide. So, main goal is to identify common vulnerabilities that aren't just specific to a particular crop or region, like storage shortages or weak market linkages, along with delays in price discovery. More importantly, what we are doing is that we are not just looking at the numbers, we are translating them to actionable policy insights. By leveraging AI driven advisories, blockchain enabled traceability, and infrastructure improvements, we can address the root causes of this price volatility and create a more stable and efficient agricultural market. So this is basically about building smarter solutions, which basically benefits everyone in the supply chain, from the farmers to the consumers. Now coming to the little background and context, agriculture, it plays a massive role in India's economy, where it employs around 60% of the country's workforce, which contributes to around 20% of the entire GDP. But despite this importance, this sector, it faces some serious challenges, especially when it comes to price volatility. So coming to the matters, first one is one key issue, that is the land use. Out of 329 million hectares of land in India, only 42% is cultivated. And this is a very big concern because 60% of the farmland, it depends entirely on monsoon, which makes it highly vulnerable to unpredictable weather conditions. One major reason as to why prices fluctuate so much is the supply demand gaps. So if we take an example of say pulses, India is the world's largest producer of pulses, yet there's a deficit. This is mainly because of the fragmented supply chains and the extreme weather conditions which disrupt the production, which affects the distribution. The second big factor is logistical inefficiencies. So if we take an example of onion and tomato prices, they shoot up during the monsoon. This is because the heavy rains, it disrupts the supply, and this leads to massive shortages. That is basically 30% of the perishable goods, they are lost after harvest simply due to poor storage and transport infrastructure. So these are basically some of the main issues which lead to the unpredictability of the agricultural prices in India. So understanding them firstly was what we had to do in order to find certain effective solutions. So moving on to the next slide.
Okay, so basically we've listed down all the references we've used to write our paper, and we've utilized a data-driven approach to analyze mitigation plans for these price variations or fluctuations that we've identified. These can provide insights to improve things like standardization, transparency, and efficiency, and reduce tampering over the entirety of the supply chain. We've collected data from this platform known as AgMarkNet. This data is from various states and districts all across the country, and we've assessed price trends of key commodities like bindi, mango, etc. So, what are our objectives? We've recognized the price variations over a certain period of time and explained the causes that affect them. And we've proposed solutions as well to decrease malpractice and increase integrity. What are some of the factors that affect these fluctuations? Are misalignment between the supply and demand, pricing variations pertaining to logistics, transportation, etc., and the presence of intermediaries, and of course seasonality changes. So over to Srivats to explain the execution of the code and what we've done exactly.
So I'm Srivat, and well, here I'll explain as to how we went about going on executing and trying to analyze the data set that we have. As my friends have mentioned, that we use as Agmark net data set. So we basically had to perform exploratory data analysis, also termed EDA, in order to um, we first collected data. So first we went over and then we sourced all the data sets that we needed from the portal, and then we started to clean the data, right? So we started to actually go over we started to go over the data. We started to clean everything, and we removed all values that were inconsistent or they were null, void, and so on. And these values actually would affect the data set in a way in case if they were still in the data set. So we started to remove them so that they don't affect results as such. And then we performed analysis in the data set where we used visualization techniques and we wrote a lot of code that produce graphs and insights, and from where we actually used to drive insights and actionable outcomes upon which we base our entire study. And yeah, more than that, we also did predictive analysis where we used correlation matrices and heat maps in order to analyze relationships between different key variables and so on. So we have a GitHub repository which I already opened. So I'll go over. So I've actually opened this GitHub repository in front of me. And over here, I will basically quickly go over some of the code that we've written. So first, we imported some of these Python libraries like NumPy, Pandas, Matplotlib, Seaborn. So NumPy is a metrics library in Python that uses the CPU in order to do metrics transformations that's needed for our dataset operations. Then we have Pandas, which is a key data frame library in Python that is used in order to manipulate tables and information that we have. Everything is stable, right? So it's used to manipulate all of that. And from there, we actually use Matplotlib and Seaborn in order to generate interactive plots from which we derive actionable insights. So first we store the data set, and then we read the data set, and then we store in a data frame, and the data frame in Pandas will provide us a very neat way in order to perform analysis on the data set, right? So this is the overview of the first 5 records of this data set, which is in fact a much bigger data set having around 23,000 rows. So over here, you get to see 9 features from state, district, market, giving you the location of what's going of everything, and the commodity of all that's sold, and then the price distribution. So we got this all right. So what this gives you an idea is that it gives you an idea of in a certain market, in a certain district, and in a certain state, what are the commodities sold, and all of that price statistics for a certain commodity in a certain market, in a certain district, in a certain state. And this is aggregated across all districts and all markets in a certain district, further aggregated over all districts in a certain state, further aggregated over all states in India. So you see how the data set is spanned across, and this contains over 23,000 rows and 9 features. And then pre-processing wasn't required here because it so happens that there were no nulls or voids, and that was good to go. And then this is some statistics that we draw where we describe the data set, right? And then we get to know some statistical features here. And moving on, we basically start to describe the entire data set, what are the different commodities in number that are sold in every state in India. And then we see that Uttar Pradesh probably has the largest number of commodities overall that is sold, followed by Kerala and Maharashtra, and the other states are not as much as the other states, the Uttar Pradesh and as such with that. So over here, it gives you a district-wise distribution, so which districts perform the best and all of that. And over here, because we couldn't see much, we basically saw that Pune performs the best. So to give you a fair idea, even though Maharashtra is number 3 or something, Pune is ranked the highest in terms of its sale, while in Uttar Pradesh, like we probably thought, you may have seen a district in Uttar Pradesh that probably has the most number of produce, but it's not so. So everything in Uttar Pradesh seems to be like well balanced out. While in Maharashtra, that's lacking because Pune happens to sell a lot more produce, while the other cities are not doing as well as Pune. Pune is. And then we go ahead and then we derive also what is being sold the maximum. What's the maximum commodity that's being sold in India across all markets? And we see the potato, onion, brinjal in this order is actually what's maximum sold in this country. So we perform data analysis like this, right? So we go over, we basically, try to tell you what is the distribution of minimum price, maximum price, and model price throughout the market. How it's distributed, what are the different price distribution that's going on in the country across all markets. And then we try to derive a lot of actionable insights out of this. And I'll basically give it to Sukrit. He will basically explain all the results that we got from such plots, which is quite a lot. So a link of this will be put in the report, and Sukrit will be explaining the results. Over to Sukrit.
So I'll just take you through the results that we obtained from the analysis that we carried out. So the first thing that we got to see was extreme price variation and regional disparities. So through our analysis, it was revealed to us that extreme price variations exist with modal prices that range all the way from 0.83 rupees all the way up to 2,25,500 rupees. And these are mainly driven by the seasonal imbalances, supply demand gaps, and logistical inefficiencies. Along with this, we also identified region-specific trends. So, for example, Kerala and Meghalaya are emerging as premium markets for high-value crops such as cardamom, arecanut, and stuff like that, while staples like potatoes and onions dominate certain other regions. Coming to the second insight that we obtained, there is a lot of data imbalances and market inefficiencies as well. So the data that we have shows us that there is significant skewed representation that exists. So, for example, some key hubs like Pune, Ernakulam, and Kangra are almost overrepresented, while other regions lack the adequate documentation that is required for further analysis. Price distributions were also right skewed, with a few high-value commodities dictating most of the trends. Along with this, the box plots that we used confirmed that pricing is highly dynamic and sensitive to supply chain inefficiencies and uneven policy enforcement and logistical constraints as well. Apart from this, we found three major overarching supply chain gaps, and they are quite critical, and they're across commodities as well as geographies. And the first one is storage deficits. So because of storage deficits, post-harvest losses remain very high, and especially for the perishable goods. The second one being fragmented market linkages, where weak integration between the farmers and the markets lead to price volatility. And the third one is logistical inefficiencies, where poor transportation and cold chain infrastructure exacerbate almost the supply demand mismatches. Now, these were the key results that we obtained, and the detailed results is mentioned in the report. Coming to the proposed solutions, the first one is predictive analytics for price stability needs to be implemented. So we hear the buzzwords of AI and ML going around these days, and these need to be used. So the advanced AI and ML algorithms can be used to analyze historical trends, the weather, supply demand gaps, and to predict price movements as well. So neural network models outperform the traditional methods, enabling early detection of the volatility that might come. Apart from this, government intervention like MSP and buffer stock also help to stabilize the prices, but integrating them with the digital tools and the market intelligence can almost multifold their impact. The second one is standardization and traceability. Now, grading and certification systems reduce the information asymmetry and ensure that the prices reflect quality. Blockchain-enabled traceability fosters transparency further, and it prevents fraud and also builds trust across the supply chain. The third one is tamper-free supply chains, as IoT devices or Internet of Things-based devices can be used to monitor the storage and the logistics in real time, detecting any sort of tampering, again, ensuring quality. Now, digital direct selling platforms connect farmers to consumers, and they cut out the intermediaries and secure fairer prices for the farmers. The fourth one being infrastructure development. Investments in the cold storage and logistics reduce post-harvest losses and stabilize the supply greatly. Apart from this, public-private partnerships or PPPs, as well as integrated value chains, are key to the long-term resilience of all of these supply chains. The fifth and the final solution that is proposed is empowering the farmers in a way where we extend all of these services till the last mile. So training in data-driven decision making and access to the real-time market information via AI-powered tools and mobile apps in a very simplified manner would help farmers optimize planting and selling decisions, also boosting their profitability. Okay, now coming to a few concluding remarks. A multidisciplinary approach integrating predictive analytics, blockchain traceability, IoT monitoring, and targeted government intervention can significantly mitigate agricultural market volatility in India. Now, the case studies that we've seen from various states demonstrate the transformative potential of digital platforms and AI-powered services in enhancing price discovery, reducing information asymmetry, and increasing farmer incomes. Now, when combined with modern technology, policy initiatives such as the MSP program and Operation Greens, these have shown promises in stabilizing prices and improving supply chain efficiency. However, the true potential of these solutions lies in their systemic integration and scalability across India's diverse agricultural landscape. Now, to achieve this, further development of AI/ML models is essential to refine demand forecasting, optimize the procurement strategies, and identify cross-cutting inefficiencies that transcend the regional or the crop-specific context. Now, expanding the mobile applications and digital marketplaces can also ensure that real-time market intelligence reaches a broader base of farmers, empowering them to make informed decisions. Along with this, strengthening partnerships between government agencies, private sector innovators, and farmer cooperatives is critical to addressing infrastructure gaps, improving the training, and fostering innovation at scale. Now, apart from all of these things, moreover, continued research into innovative financing models and adaptive supply chain strategies can reduce dependence on middlemen, enhance the market transparency, and promote long-term price stability. By synthesizing fragmented technological and policy interventions into a cohesive framework, stakeholders can address systemic vulnerabilities and build a more resilient, equitable agricultural market system. Now, this holistic approach not only bridges the gap between localized successes and nationwide scalability, but also provides a robust foundation for data-driven policymaking in a diverse and dynamic agrarian economy like India. Thank you.